he think Allah told him to marry a 6-year-old child?
Let's dive into it.
When it comes to the issue of Aisha radiallahu anha, we need to understand the context.
The context doesn't change anything. For example, rape will have horrific consequences in any context. That is the same for child marriage.
At the time, Aisha radiallahu anha, she was already engaged to another individual prior to the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. This is to show that this was a practice which was normal at the time.
Slavery was normal at the time. Doesn't change the horrific consequences of slavery.
So the enemies of Islam, they were looking for every excuse to dismiss the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, as a messenger of God.
Well, to prove that he did that are Muslims' proof. Also describing critics of Islam as enemies of Islam is a way to really shut down any critics towards Islam. This is anti-intellectualism. The main issue is simple. Muhammad is an example for all times. And so, this shows that child marriage is okay in Islam.
Not one from amongst them criticized this marriage of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, to Aisha radiallahu anha. Not just them, non-Muslims, up until the last 200-300 years, they never raised this as an issue. Why? Because the issue of marrying young was a global practice. Muslims, Christians, secular, you'll find it in all walks of life. This was a global practice.
Yes, because they didn't know that it had horrific consequences. It's the same for slavery. But we wouldn't bring back slavery because people done it before.
Thirdly, what is the age of marriage according to you as a Christian?
When she has her period or when she is at a peak.
So does the Bible give you a number?
No, it doesn't.
We don't have a number, you don't have a number.
Firstly, you can't just guess the number by head like this. You need some really deep research in psychology to establish an age. And secondly, if we follow religion, any, like Christianity, Islam, or even Judaism, we will bring back also slavery. That's why we don't make laws according to some old books.
The age of marriage in Islam is physical, psychological maturity. As well as that, we have a principle of no harm and no reciprocation of harm.
So that's absolutely false, because in that age, it's impossible to have psychological or physical maturity, and it will always bring harm to the child. And this is not in only Occidental health, but in global health.
Any marriage, whether it's a 9-year-old or a 90-year-old, which involves harm to one party or the other, is a void marriage. So the issue of harm is an overriding principle in the Sharia.
Are you telling me 6-year-old capable of getting married?
At the time, this was normal.
What? He's not even responding to the question. It's like I say, does slavery brings harm? And he says, well, it was normal at the time. But so what?
And this is why she was engaged prior to this. You can shake your head. You've given no counter evidence. You can't apply today's norms and standards to 1,000 years ago.
Well, Muhammad is the example for all times. So this apply even today. You can have child marriage in Islam. And we usually say that because they didn't have the technology to know that. However, it's different in this case because you're bringing back child marriage to today when we know it brings harm.
Now you as a Christian, you talk about this critique of marrying young. Do you believe that Jesus Christ is God?
Absolutely.
Do you believe that God inspired the Old Testament?
Yeah.
So when we go to Numbers 31, verse 17, I want you to read this for me here.
Therefore, kill every male among the little one and kill every woman who has known a man intimately. Keep
reading.
alive for yourself all the young girls who have not known a man intimately.
So this is telling Moses what to do in the case of war here. Kill every man, kill every woman who's known a man intimately, and keep for yourselves the young girls. What to do with these young girls? The Bible will teach you what you need to do with these young girls. You bring them home, you shave their hair, let them cry over their dead parents for a month, and then you go into them. This is what the Bible teaches you. And it tells you exactly what a man should do when he rapes a woman. He should pay the father, not a child in fact, he should pay the father 50 shekels, and she is to be married to him for the rest of her life, and she can't divorce him. I want that same energy you had earlier.
Yes, that's why we shouldn't only critique Islam, but critique also Christianity and Judaism, because their laws aren't better, they are as worse, and sometimes in Christianity it's even way worse. But it doesn't justify that Islam is doing that. It's not because someone rape a woman that you can also do it or do something as worst as it. That's why we make our laws according to psychological, neurological, and biological and philosophical studies.